Good evening. Ooh. That is loud. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, brand new headphones blew my eardrums out. Welcome along to your Tuesday night serving of sim racing on Twitch. It is, of course, Wiz Motorsport Super League Season 3, round number 4. It's Watkins, Glen, my name, of course, double O Raven. Recently jumped out of his skin because the volume was all different there. Hopefully the volumes are okay for you guys. Let me know how you're getting on. Got a few people in the chat as well. Good evening, apologies. And not said hello. Let's, who have we got? Oh, sound alerts. Seem like your sound alert browser source is offline. Okay, dokie. Kezo Fitness, Forza Rico. Yes, indeed. Very much Forza Rico at the moment. As we can see, he's leading the way already in qualifying. And again, hopefully... Okay, that seems to have settled that a bit. Let me know. 1, 2, 3... Sorry, let me just check. Just checking the volumes here. Let me know how they are, cars, and compared to my good self. Let's have a quick look at the standings. As we can see, Forza Ricci indeed, and it is Roberto Ricci with 2 race wins out of 3 trips onto the podium. His drop round to third place, not too bad at all. 214 points, a couple of quickest lap endorsements in there as well. I've seen him with a 214 point tally after effectively 2 rounds, because of course there is the drop round. And it is 199 points. That sound is really bizarre. 199 points to the closest chaser, Nigel O'Brien, in second. He's only a point ahead of Evan Cairns. And it's much the same with another 2 Wiz Motorsport drivers, not too far apart. The Mercedes, the 2 Mercedes of Gunther Deportier and Gavin Taylor. Excuse me. Both in Mercedes, 11th and 7th and 11th and 8th so far this season. See them separated by a mere 3 points. That's 8th and 9th. Dean Power finds himself only 3 points ahead of Jake Rose in 4th position. Jason Lingard there in 6th, nestled between those 2 battles on 168 points. So not too far ahead, a little bit of breathing space behind, just a little bit though. Fabio Gallimini rounding out the top 10. Dylan Ferguson in 11th, and Ralph Scullion himself in 12th position in the Porsche. How was that going to handle Watkins this evening? No long straights to give away that power, apart from, of course, the bus stop chicane. Stephen Mullen, 13th position. Alex Milchin in 14th, and Stuart Brierton in 15th position. Lots of drivers still down that order, but we will get on to, of course, the live action. And again, hopefully the volumes are okay. But yeah, so far in qualifying, it is Roberto Ricci doing exactly what he does best. 1 minute 42.4 the time he has set so far, and that sees him 2 hundredths ahead of Evan Cairns. Unbelievable. These 2 now half a second, in fact over half a second ahead of O'Brien. So certainly championship connotations there between Cairns and O'Brien. Jake Rose outside the top 10, 4th place at the moment. Coleman Corkery as well outside the top 15, 5th position at the moment. Jason Lingard, we know, is inside the top 10, 16 power as well, sitting in 7th place. There's Ian Paskin just ahead of Deportier. Scullion in 10th at the minute, a Corsi in 11th. Gavin Taylor down in 12th place, but 3/10 up on his lap time at the moment. And I really do need to find my glasses. I should glue those things to my head. Oh, Taylor, there we go. Carries some time across the line and finds himself in 9th and 100th of a second ahead of Deportier. Hey, yeah, the Mercedes duo absolutely going for it. There is Portier there. Love to see it. Still got Stephen Millen. Yet to set a time. And this a new name in the series, Axon BR. Maybe he's cold. Could do with some seat warmers in his Audi. Ooh, hasn't set a time yet, and that's not going to be a time either. That's going to be a time to jam on the brakes and jump back to the pits. Ricci's still out on a lap, so too Cairns O'Brien. So yeah, 200 separating the top two. They're half a second ahead of O'Brien, who himself is 7/10 ahead of Rose at the moment. So these three definitely separating themselves from the rest of the field. There's only a second separating 4th down to 13th. So 9 cars separated by a second, and they're almost a second behind the top 3. So some very, very, very quick times being set up there at the front. I do seem disturbingly loud. So let me just turn the cars up ever so slightly. And I will have a quick look. Yeah, that all seems fine. So hopefully you guys can hear me over the top of the engines. Again, if there is any issues with the volumes, let me know, and I will get them changed over. Only 4 minutes remaining, and it is still the shootout up at the top and between Taylor and Deportier. And in fact, Rafa Scullion, my apologies, Rafa, not paying close enough attention there. We can see he's set at an almost identical time to Taylor and Deportier. So he is right in this battle, and in fact a Corsi. Wow, so that's Taylor, Deportier, Scullion and a Corsi within 400ths of one another. 4 drivers separated by 400ths. That's very close, and they're only a 10th behind Paskin. So just goes to show you how close the rest of the field is, and just how much quicker than the rest of the field. Oh, nice livery, Raf. How much quicker than the rest of the field Ricci, Cairns particularly, and O'Brien are. Three minutes left, 1 minute 40, so they will get out. Plenty of time for more laps to pop in. And I'm just going to very quickly share the stream. That's not me. Okay, just very quickly sharing the link to the stream, get more eyes on the racers. There we go, 2 minutes left to qualify. It's a 30-minute race, so it's a straight sprint of course. There we go. Oh, do you love it when it asks you to sign into so many different things at so many different times? You sign into an app and then it asks you to sign into another part of the app. Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal stuff. But there we go. Link shared. And we'll see how qualifying ends. A minute to go. Watkins, Glen. 1956 this one was built. It was about 2.5 miles long when it was first built. 3.4 miles. As it is now, of course, they've got the shorter circuit with the short circuit and the short circuit with, basically with or without the inner loop, the bus stop chicane. We all know that one. Yes, indeed. Expect to see some action through there this evening. As I was saying, before I rudely interrupted myself, it is a straight up sprint or race this evening. 30 minutes. All positions taking part this evening will receive themselves some points. The cars got in the Bentley. There we go. Oh, how things have changed on ACC. I remember the days it was just Bentley, and a Bentley thrown in with another couple of Bentleys, just for good measure, a Bentley added as well. But then they nerfed the petrol tank, bye Bentley. But yeah, no, the car still repping. Good to see. That is qualifying coming to a close. Ricci is in the pits. Power is out in the pits, but he is 2/10 down on his time at the moment. None quicker have gone any of the battles that we're keeping an eye on. Ricci still the 142.445, 200ths ahead of Cairns, who is half a second ahead of O'Brien. And Brian himself, 6:10. Dean Power actually did close a bit. In fact, he has moved up positions. I'm not paying attention to that. He did indeed. He's up to 4th. And within 1.1, Rose in 5th. The Corset in 6th, with Corkery in 7th position. Stuart Brierton in the Wiz Ferrari. Nope, takes a checkered flag and doesn't go quicker. Flanagan. Nope, no quicker either. And Gavin Taylor and Deportier will still be inseparable. So too Rafa Scully. Like I say, right in that battle. Turn 1 is going to be fun. There is the qualifying results. It is Ricci and Cairns inseparable on the front row in those Ferraris. But it is O'Brien who takes purple sector 1 in the Honda. Only the top two. Oops. Oh yeah, can't wait to get this sorted. Not get this sorted, but yeah, we're going to find a tidier way of bringing up these results in future. O'Brien in the Honda with the purple sector 1. It is Power in the Porsche with Rose in the Porsche just behind him on row number 3. Of course, in the Vantage Aston Martin. On row number 3, Corkery and Lingard on row 4. Paskin and Taylor, 9 and 10th. On row number 5, just behind Taylor, it is Deportier. Well, in fact, just behind Taylor, it's going to be Rafa Scullion in 12th. He'll be side by side with teammate Deportier. Flanagan and Sepp in 13th and 14th. Gallimini and McSweeney are going to start 15th and 16th. Let's see if they keep it clean on lap 1. That could be a tongue twister. Gallimini and McSweeney, Brighton and Takar starting in 18th. Himself, Mullen and Brrr. There we go. Testing if a Scotsman can roll his R's. Not setting times. So they're going to start on row number 10. We can't push that yet. So what we'll do is look at the pretty opening video. There we go. It is round number 4. So far it has been the Roberto Ricci show pretty much. 3 trips to the podium, 2 of them on the very top spot. And yeah, with that qualifying, he's got himself on the top spot. Doesn't look like he's going to run away with the race this time. Evan Cairns more than matching him time-wise around the course. That 200th of a second separating them. Oh, this is going to be a race. O'Brien in the Honda. Can he pounce on any mistake or any over-exuberant overtaking attempt made by Cairns or Ricci. I know, I didn't think I was going to get to the end of that one as well. 1 minute 10 seconds for the driver to set their tyre pressures, make sure they've got just enough fuel to crawl around the last corner and save every microgram of weight that they can for round number 4. This is, as I said, mentioned a few times, Watkins Glen. It's going to be a good one. We've got 2 cracking rounds still to come. Donington Park. Yeah, no, when I say cracking rounds, I meant for me to commentate and us to view. Yeah, Donington scares me as well. And it will end on Zinabagring. We will be off to Germany, of course, the track built to battle Ford's dominance. And that is where the series will end. What will the lay of the land be going into the last round? Will Ricci have this one all wrapped up? We will very soon see. Let's have a look here. Here we go. Raggioli Racing on the front row of the grid once again, ably joined by Wiz Motorsports. 30-minute sprint at night in the dark. Of course, it's going to be easy for me to keep up with the action. No trips into the pit. The drivers will once again be hoping. Points up for grabs as well for the fastest lap. As a bit of slipstream going to help O'Brien bag himself a couple of extra points. And how many drive-through and how many steward warnings are we going to see in turn 1? It is a tricky one. There's the green lights. It's foot down, flat out, and down the hill towards turn number 1. They go Ricci, Cairns, both getting good starts. So too O'Brien looking to go defensive. Justin Rose in the background looking to get a move done on Powers. And I think he's got that done then. A Corsi in the background having a bit of a sniff as well. And it's Coleman Corkery in the BMW getting involved in this battle. He's closed right in there. He's going to try and follow Rose and a Corsi through in the background. It looks like everyone's had a nice clean start. Deportier going side by side with Rafa Scullion then on their way in to the bus stop chicane. And Evan Cairns has got the lead of the race. Evan Cairns is taking the lead on the... Oh, into turn number 1, I did not see... No, that's Raggioli Racing. My apologies, it's Raggioli Racing on the outside, and he did get it on the exit to turn number 1. Phenomenal start there. The night time, belaying the action there. I did miss that because of the darkness. But there we go. Excuses made into the bus stop. No excuses for Cairns. A beautiful, beautiful move to take the lead. He did have a look back up the inside as well. The other Raggioli Racing car looked like he was getting off. Sorry, yeah, that was a Corsi just ahead. He looked like he was going side by side as well. Rafa Scullion still having a phenomenal race. Let's do that and that. He is just behind. In fact, he's ahead. A Deportier then. He's got himself just behind Lingard. I think the timing boards are going to update that. Yeah, he is 40. Oh no. Nope, darkness again. There is Scullion there. So Scullion in the Porsche is just behind Deportier. Rose now down at the back of the grid. Oh, and we've missed whatever happened on the replay, but it was definitely before the bus stop chicane. Himself. Takar still down the field. BR's up. Stuart Brierton down the field as well. So he's lost a hatful of positions. Jason Lingard still behind Gavin Taylor. Oh, sorry, behind Gavin Taylor. Now is Lingard separating Deportier from Taylor. Exactly what Taylor needs, given there's only 3 points separating them in the championship. Dean Power, he got away clean, and so too these lead threes. We can just catch on the replay. Ricci just coming through. The boot section, heavy on the brakes there, almost contact on the inside, was very, very close indeed there. And the Honda getting a good look at what's going on ahead. I was down through the boot section, in fact, they are up. Wow, that is running really slowly. Hopefully that's running okay for you guys on stream. Let's give out the ghost. Yeah, there we go. Apologies. The replay was running really slowly. Well, hopefully that didn't affect the stream at all. But yeah, okay, so Jason Lingard, sorry, that totally threw me off there, I'm not sure what happened. But Jason Lingard is now in 10th position then, so he's lost another position, and that is to Deportier, who now finds himself up in 9th once again, chasing down Gavin Taylor. The battle of the Mercedes, as we can see in the background, not Gallimini, Lingard having a look up the inside, a Corsair taking the fastest lap in the opening exchanges. It's still Cairns leading the way then. Let's go on to Helican so we can see the action. Ricci in second, O'Brien in third, Power in fourth position, a Corsair in fifth, Corkery in sixth. Is he just taking the fastest lap? Nope, O'Brien credited with the fastest lap then. 2 laps in the early exchanges. McSweeney in 20th, with Brighton in 19th behind Takar. Rose back up to 17th position. So he's made some good progress back through the field after an early exchange of paint with someone. Oh, as we can see into the bus stop chicane. And that was Ian Paskin who was side by side, yeah. For Team WRT. That was very close through there. That was Deportier. So Paskin then, sorry, so we've missed the overtake there. He did get that. Gavin Taylor got the overtake done. Round it outside, so he is behind as they make their way up the hill onto the straight. He's just got a lot more momentum then around the outside. Oh, the Audi stayed in front. Oh, and Paskin's back ahead of him again. So that was Paskin getting the overtake done there, sorry. The timing board's not keeping up with the action that's going on the screen. That was actually Paskin retaking that position there, sorry. Indeed, so he's no longer separating Taylor and Deportier. It would be good if those updated live, but there we go. Excuse me, Roberto Ricci, 2.5 tenths, absolutely glued to the back of Evan Cairns, as you would expect, 2 laps in. These two now a second ahead. And Nigel O'Brien, Power in 4th place, a Corsair still in 5th, Corkery in 6th, it's Paskin in 7th, Taylor in 8th place, Deportier 9th, 10th is Scullion, it's Gallimini in 11th, Mullen in 12th place. I wonder if he placed for Wrexham. Jake Rose, McSweeney, what's happening there? Lingard. That didn't come up on the incident report, and it does look like he's already miles down on the field there. So whatever happened to Lingard, we've missed that one. Yeah, that didn't come up on the instant thing. So Jason Lingard firmly ejected from the top 10 then. Now finds himself running dead last. So fairly well down on the field. That is Cairns and Ricci with a 1 second gap over O'Brien, being Power. Still holding on to 4th, Corkery and Paskin making it through turn 1. He's still defending from Taylor and Deportier, who are once again inseparable. And they've got Rafa Scullion, who was only 200ths behind these two in qualifying. Still sitting in that 10th place at the moment. He's got a big gap back to Gallimini, actually, who's doing some defending from Stephen Mullen as they come up the hill. The Wiz Motorsports second Honda in the race. I'm saying second Honda because O'Brien's up in 3rd place there. 1.2 seconds is now that gap. Flanagan under pressure from Brighton. In fact, they've got Flanagan between them. Given how close they are, it does look like Brighton is going to be able to not so much force the issue, but he's definitely going to be able to force the issue. If he keeps getting this close to Flanagan, Flanagan's either going to have to let him through or try and get himself an overtake on McSweeney if he misjudges the overtake. Brighton is going to get through anyway. He has a look into turn number 1, pulls back into the slipstream. Doesn't want to box himself out, doesn't want to potentially... Oh, let me just have a look at a Corsair. Oh, and is that Power? Oh, that is Power. He was under pressure. Oh, all the pressure coming from a Corsair there, and it's into the bus stop chicane. or the inner loop, whichever one you prefer. Oh, and you can see how much of a run a Corsai's got. He's all over the back on their power. Forced to take either a defensive line or move over early. He knows he stayed on the middle line. Oh, and he's had a bit of oversteer after hitting that first curb. And he's then gone on to bounce. Oh, just a little clip of the wall. So he's managed to avoid overly much damage here. Down into 10th position then. So Scullion promoted to 9th. Paskin in 8th place. Potentially taking some avoiding action there because he does find himself between Deportier and Gavin Taylor. We're going to miss that on the replay because of the replay that we did watch. So Coleman Corkery up to 5th position, and Corsi, of course, into 4th. Nigel O'Brien now 1.7 down on the lead two, who are still separated by about a car length, 5 laps in, 3/10 separating these two. Order has been restored to the universe. Roberto Ricci has the purple lap once again. Didn't think it was going to take him long. Flanagan, Lingard no longer in the race. We've lost a couple of drivers actually, because Flanagan is now in 18th with Briarton closing in as they cross the start-finish line into turn number 1. And that is a Honda. Is that Mullen? No, it's not. Oh, that is literally not a Honda. It's a McLaren, and it is Mick Sweeney. That sounded like someone revving an engine like they were stationary, but there's no one showing as stationary. Oh, Paskin. Yes, there is. Oh, and I don't think we've gone back far enough there, but at the top of the hill, out of turns 3 and 4, that is a forlorn Audi. Oh, and that is a very keen application of the accelerator, which has caused the tyres to, have a little bit of extra power, more power than the driver was anticipating. And a beautiful pirouette on track. No such pirouettes for, let's look at Coleman Corkery. He is closing right in on a Corsi as well. And in fact, we are... Sorry, bear with me a second. There we go. I knew there was something missing. Oh, Rose is in the pits. That was too much damage to take. Hopefully he can get repaired and get back out. Mullen still in 11th place. But he is closing in on Gallimini. Taylor still applying pressure to Deportier. But while all that's going on, we've missed an overtake there as well. I'm going to change my middle name to Miss the Overtake, and in fact we have spectacularly missed that one, because as well for all that action, it is job done for Deportier in the battle for top 10 honours and inter-team bragging rights. It's Deportier once again leading the charge. He's up to 6th, Taylor now in 7th. Is Scullion though not far behind in 8th place still. He'll be hoping that whatever ailed Taylor and Deportier, for those two to swap positions so many times, he will be able to capitalise on that if he can. Dean Power in 9th place, Gallimini in 10th. He does have Stephen Mullen closing in very closely indeed. Then it is Simon Takar. Started dead last in the Bentley. Oh no, not dead last, sorry, 18th. Didn't set a time, he was 17th, 18th position, and now finds himself up into 12th. As you can see, confirmation there. Paskin and Rose both into the pits after fairly spectacular amounts of damage. As you can see, that is not a happy Honda, because it's an Audi, so it would be even more sad if it was a Honda, I suppose. Stephen Mullen, Wiz Motorsports, still trying to close up to Dean Power ahead. He's inside the top 10. But you'll be able to see on the timing deltas what we can see, which is Rafa Scullion keeping Gavin Taylor very honest indeed. Deportier has said, see y'all later, and a clean pair of heels has been shown to his fellow Mercedes driving. Oh, and Scullion's got it done. Well, let's watch that one again. Oh, and he already had it done by then. We'll have missed it. He's right on the edge. That's turn one. So he got it done out. Oh, and he's come right back at him then. The side-by-side up the hill is Gavin Taylor versus Rafa Scullion. But Scullion, we know, does hold on to this position. So he got it done on the exit to the last turn, run down the hill. He must have got the nose in front just as they got to turn number one, along towards the inner loop. Has a look up the inside, does the Mercedes, decides he doesn't want contact with the boss man, and he will spend the next 16 minutes vehemently trying to get that position back. But at the moment it is Scullion in 7th position. Up at the front, Roberto Ricci still fastest driver on the track. Evan Cairns still doing everything he can to fend off the fastest driver on the track. Phenomenal lapping from the both of them. 1 minute 43.400 for Cairns. 1 minute 43.307. So less than a tenth. Separating the fastest lap of these two. As we can see, the purple marker next to Ricci's name. There's Rose back out in the pits. That's what the indication was there. Still no indication as to the incident itself, though, so I'm not sure what or how it happened. Maybe, potentially some kind of equipment, because, yeah, incident should pop up, but it didn't. So, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there, but we will, we'll crack on with what we do know, and it is Scullion in 7th, now separating Taylor and Deportier. So Deportier loving what he is seeing, with only 3 points separating himself and Taylor in the standings. Getting an extra car between himself and his prey will certainly be more than welcome. Ricci still chasing. Let's have a look on board and watch these two for a couple of laps. So often the race leaders get very little camera time because they're separated out, but these two are given an absolute masterclass. Putting in some phenomenally quick laps in the conditions. And doing it while a few feet apart at a time. Down into turn number one, very heavy braking zone. Really need to get as much inside curve as you can and as much outside curve without violating those track limits. You really do get out on that outside curve. This uphill section, so easy to get wrong if you underestimate your required steering input by even a fraction. You will pinball up those walls like you're going downhill on a water slide, I can assure you. Into the dreaded inner loop, then the outer loop. So easy again to get that one wrong. The weight transfer to keep the car absolutely key to successfully make it through there again. Out on those curves down the hill. Assetto Corsa getting these bottom curves on the right hand side. Very much correct, I have been assured. Using that to straighten out the car. Then up through the toe. A lot of beautiful off-camera. Such an amazing course to do your racing at. Over halfway through the lap, and still only 3/10 separate these two. We're over halfway through the race as well, I meant to say there. Two things going at once. That was halfway through the lap, and we're over halfway through the race, and these two are definitely still separated by 3/10 of a second as they exit the boot complex into the penultimate corners and past the pit entrance to complete lap number 9. 3/10 still separating these two. Rafa Scullion now half a second from Deportier. Taylor 1.4 seconds down, so the Mercedes not able to keep up with the Porsche. And now that Scullion's got himself some clear air, and he definitely looks like he's piling the pressure onto the Mercedes, as you can see him coming through the penultimate few corners. Still very much in touch with the race leaders as well. They're coming back up the hill through another timing board, and it's still only 3/10. that separate these two up at the front. The Ferrari engine absolutely wailing beautifully up that hill. Don't like using chase cam, but how can you not love the sound of that car? Absolutely flat out over those legs. The last two curves off the power, straight back on again, straight down the hill. Has a look upside, got a good run there, better run than Cairns, very close indeed. That is incredibly close, to be fair. As we come to finish lap number 10, Scullion looking close, Power and then catching up with Taylor. So Taylor really losing pace compared to his competitors. If you have a look at the qualifying times, so I'm not sure what's going on with Taylor, but whatever it is, Dean Power certainly looking to make the most of it. All the eggs that he can use there for Ricci. No messing about there. Look how tight he gets to that corner there on the way out into the penultimate corner. Inside apex, outside curbing once again. So much rubber out there from the cars, using his right up on the white line on the left. Really is hear 'em, scare 'em stuff when you jump on board and see how close these guys are getting to the wall, guys and gals. There is Dean Power again, getting very, very close indeed to Gavin Taylor. As I mentioned, 1.4 down on Rafa Scullion then, who's within half a second or just on half a second of Gunther Deportier in 6th. He'll be Gunther definitely in the last about 10 minutes. We'll be hoping to keep Rafa behind him so he can keep that extra point differential between himself and Taylor. But I tell you, Dean Power could be doing him a big favour as well. He was having a look there too. Right up on the exit curve. I tell you, that's going to be a good run up the hill. Was that an extra dab of the brakes there? He maybe got too good a run there. Very difficult to go side by side through here. Again, that corner looks a lot easier than it is. You really have to try before you buy when it comes to making a judgment up there. Going side by side. Woo, yeah, hang on tight. Over the curves. I don't know what that sparking sound is. Again, hopefully the sound is okay. If there is anyone in the chat that can let me know how it's sounding. Yeah, it seems to be okay at this end. We've got a third driver, Flanagan then. Watkins, Glen proving to be a cruel mistress indeed this evening. And that is Flanagan, Rose and Paskin retiring to the pits. Dean Power still trying to find a way past Gavin Taylor. Gavin looking at right, whatever it is. He's actually found the 10th on Scullion. Scullion dropping a couple of 10s to Deportier. Corsi now 1.5 down on Coleman Corkery, who's in 4th position. Oh! That was... What happened there? Gavin Taylor. So we're on board with Taylor. I mean, yeah, we do love the sound of the Ferrari, but that Mercedes does sound absolutely epic. Down through the boot section. All good there. Oh, big wiggle on the exit, and the Porsche Scullion says, thank you very much. Up the inside, onto the exit, and away, and into the stratosphere. 7th position then for Rafa Scullion. Oh, and Taylor has been overtaken by Power as well. So Power has made his way through. There's now 2 cars. Oh, that is Gunther Deportier has binned it on the exit. Wow, so it's all going on. I think I've misplaced a couple of the drivers there. But Deportier then having an issue. Seemingly out of no place on the exit to the bus stop. On the way to the outer loop. Oh, yep. Okay, so he got nowhere near that second apex, which unsettled him on his way into the third, and it was good night Vienna by the time he hit the 4th. Deportier now finds himself just ahead Dean Power. No, he doesn't, because he's run wide again. Power's going to go round the outside of this one, or is he? Deportier's going to have the line, but Power is going to certainly have a look here in the Porsche, and Gavin Taylor will be more than happy to see this action taking place in front of him, and he'll be cheering Power on for sure, knowing he needs to close as many positions as he can to continue this battle. So it was game on for Deportier a few laps ago, in fact a few corners ago. Stop go for spin in the pit lane for Mullen. Insult to injury. Goes into the pits to get some damage repaired, and gets a stop go 30-second penalty. That is brutal. And he is straight back in. Roberto Ricci still trying to find his way past Evan Cairn. Still so much action going on down through the field, though, with Dean Power, Gunther Deportier and Gavin Taylor. As we can see them once again coming into the bus stop chicane. Oh, heavy on the brakes. How close is he getting under the slipstream? Of course, double slipstream really there. So he would have been carrying so much more speed and had so much less grip, or aerodynamic grip certainly, on his way into the corner. Down the hill, into the left. How much of the curb on the right is he going to use? Nice dip in this curb here. Really can straighten out the car. So Taylor now down into 9th. Power between himself and Deportier. Only 5 minutes left to go. Still Ricci trying to find his way past Evan Cairns. Still no... Again, perhaps he just likes being the hunter. Or maybe, I mean, he knows a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. He's already got 2 first places under his belt. Although, yeah, let's be serious, he's a competitor. He wants the race win. So has he just been playing coy this whole race? Just doesn't want to be chased? Would rather do the chase and apply the pressure? You never know. Cairns could make a mistake. We've certainly seen a couple of drivers make mistakes here so far. When I tell you, he's got a very good run on the exit and they're looking lifted there. Knows he could not get side by side, but he's going to have a good run down the hill. Oh, and the lead Ferrari really using as much of the outside curb as he can. Needs to be careful. You do not want to be picking up a drive-through penalty for violating track limits in a 30-minute race. If to finish first, you must first finish is rule number 1 in racing. Don't be violating the track limits enough to get a penalty in a 30-minute race. Has got to be rule number 2. Gavin Taylor applying some pressure to Deportier, who in turn is applying the pressure to Power, who's now ahead of him. So Power, we've missed that overtake there as well. I'm going to get this whole replay, but Deportier and Taylor now separated by no positions whatsoever. It is 9th for Taylor, 8th for Deportier. Of course, in a bit of no man's land in a minute. Rafa Scullion in 6th position. Less than 4 tenths separated 4 drivers just on the edge of the top 10, and it was Rafa who was 3rd of those 4. He now leads the way with Power 1.2 seconds down. Deportier and Taylor reigniting the Mercedes battle. These two just can't help themselves. I'm sure they get separation anxiety. Fabio Gallimini in 10th place. The car is in 11th. McSweeney in 12th. Bryant in... Oh, that seems like something weird's going on. That says 160 frames a second. Bryant has got some issues there, it would seem. But he is still out on track. We've got 4 cars in the pit. Mullen hasn't come back out to finish the race. And Ricci still in 2nd. That looks like a bigger gap. Oh no, it's not. The car. Why didn't the car appear there? ACC camera work doing strange things. That's definitely a 1/4 of a second separating them. And Taylor is getting good moves over the back of Deportier. If they get close enough to Power actually within a second of Scullion and Taylor looking to go around the side. We're going to see side by side on their way in to the bus stop. Oh, that looked very close. The lead Mercedes and Deportier having a big old wiggle on the way in and manages to control it on the way out. We've seen a couple of cars come a cropper in there. Deportier dices with death and lives to drive another lap, that is for sure. And that has just I really read the mic here. Gavin Taylor then, still in ninth place. Ricci with 2 minutes to go at 1 minute 43 a lap. That's not long left. 2 laps tops. In fact, yeah, they're going to get 2 more full laps. Ricci, as far as the championship goes, he can't afford to have Cairns finish. Cairns is third at the moment, and he is 16 points behind. Cairns only a point ahead. Oh. Yeah, we seem to be having some kind of lagging issue with a couple of cars. That is slightly frustrating because it is the lead 2 separated by a 10th. My frame rate is still at 168 frames. Massively confused. The rest of the cars are working. Okay. And yeah, broadcast software says 0 frames dropped from the broadcast. Okay, so you guys are seeing exactly what I'm seeing, and it is the lead 2 in slow motion. Apologise for anyone that may get motion sickness towards the end of the race. We can see some of the cars are still running. Okay, Deportier in 9th, and he is behind Taylor. So while that was going on, we'll miss the overtake. Here is Deportier and Taylor. There is Taylor. So this is turn number 1. Running up the hill. Taylor didn't get that much, but bit of a wiggle then on the steering there from Deportier up the hill, and that's going to let Taylor close the gap hugely. That slipstream is going to be massively beneficial. As soon as he gets on the straight, he can pop up the inside. He's going to have a huge advantage into the braking zone. Slingshotted beautifully there, pounced on the slightest of mistakes over. And Deportier goes for full code brown on the inside of the entry curb to the inner loop, and by the outer loop it is comfortably done for Gavin Taylor. Back to game on for Taylor between these two then. I did say this was going to be a season-long battle between these two, given the points finishes, and the performance from the two of them this evening. Look, these two are working in the replay. Are you? So we are having some issues bringing you live coverage of the lead 2. They are on the last lap. It is still Ricci in second position, and it is still Evan Cairns in first. That seems to have cooled its jets ever so slightly. No, who am I kidding? O'Brien in third then. Dean Power all over the back of Rafa Scullion. Rafa still ahead. Evan Cairns still leading the way. Less than 3:10 separating them coming through the this is the final corner now. Evan Cairns leading the way. Good exit out of the last corner. He is going to cross the start-finish line, and he is going to take the checkered flag for his first win of the series. Ricci is going to take the fastest lap, although there's still drivers running. But he is crossing the line in second place. He's got the fastest lap at the moment. Here comes O'Brien to cross the line to take the final podium position. Coleman Corkeray promoted quite a few, and he takes fourth place, with Luca Accorsi making it 2 in the top 5 for Razzioli Racing. Fifth place there. Rafa Scullion under serious pressure from Dean Power, but a beautiful drive in the Porsche. Crosses the line, takes the checkered flag, and gets himself 6th position. Phenomenal drive there. Dean Power crosses the line in 7th. And it will be, ding ding, seconds out, round 5 next week between Taylor and Deportier, 8th and 9th. Gallimini in 10th. And Simran Takar started in 17th place in the Bentley. Gets himself a very good 11th. There's Gallimini putting on a bit of a show with the lights there. Love to see it. Trevor McSweeney in the McLaren. gets himself 12th place. So himself and Gallimini and McSweeney were separated by the car. Stuart Bryant. Now he was, oh yeah, he still is. He's in 13th, so let's get off that very quickly. So there we go. Yeah, phenomenal racing there. Pity we had a bit of a glitch there at the end. That was slightly unfortunate. I'll speak to Raf about getting the replay uploaded so you guys and gals can watch the race unhindered. But it was Evan Cairns' first race win of the series. Congratulations. This really does bring it to life in the closing rounds. Of course, we've got Donington. Yep, no, that really does scare me that much. And then the Nürburgring, Ricci making it a second Ferrari and another trip onto the podium. 4 from 4 on the podium. Excuse me, and he's been on all 3 spots now. 2 firsts, a second, and a third. That's not bad over the season. O'Brien. Sorry, that caught my throat. In third, Corkery. In fourth, as I mentioned, the Corsi and Scullion. 5th and 6th, Power and Taylor. 7th and 8th, Portier and Gallimini. 9th and 10th, the car in 11th, McSweeney. And 13th, Brighton and Mullen. 13th and 14th place with Flanagan. And Rose, 15th and 16th. A few laps down. Paskin, Sepp, BR, Lingard. In fact, Rose not finishing the race due to technical issues. There we go. Another round in the bags. Round number 4. I've put round number 5 on the title, I think. My apologies. Great race, Cairns, Ricci, GG, indeed. There's Raf. How we doing, Raf? Apologies for ending the broadcast, mate. I've no idea what caused that stuttering. It only seemed to affect a few of the cars. But yeah, I'll see if I can send you over the full race replay and we can get something done with that. But thank you massively to everyone that took part, of course, in the race this evening. The Wiz Motorsports Super League Season 3 certainly living up to the name. Round number 4 at Donington. It's going to be a good one. So make sure you get yourself tuned in for that. Thank you to everyone in the chat cheering on their teammates. Cheers to Raf for putting together Wiz Motorsport on a phenomenal calendar. I will be back with you lovely people once again April the 4th, 9 o'clock UK time, which is obviously going to change for some of you around the world because people's clocks are changing left and right in a minute. So 9 o'clock UK time, April the 4th for round number 5. And until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.